So this is my submission entry into OmegaShinRyuKen's 500 plus subs contest. Just like the link said. Wanted to spotlight your favorite character. I debated on this for, contest ends tomorrow? So, I spent a lot of time thinking, like seriously, and I thought about it and thought about it, and I came up with some stuff, and then I came up with something else, and I was like, no, none of that is really my favorite for various reasons. I'm a fan of a lot of stuff. I have a lot of favorites, but this title has significance to me because this is what got me back into buying singles. Because at one point I was just doing trades. I was in the Air Force. I was supposed to be able to deploy at like a moment's notice. I didn't want to have to worry about where my single issues were, so I just picked up trades. And that was kind of cool because at the same time I picked up some stuff I probably wouldn't have picked up in singles, like The Walking Dead, Why the Last Man. All that great stuff came out of the same timeline, or the same time for me. But we're not talking about The Walking Dead, and we're not talking about Why the Last Man. Today we will be discussing Preacher. Now, aside from this being the book that got me back into buying singles, this story is awesome. This book is crazy hot right now, and rightfully so. So I'm going to spare most of the backstory on this. But you wanted to see keys, and you wanted to see your favorite storyline, and all that I have covered. But this is Preacher number 1, first appearance of Jesse Custard, first appearance of his girlfriend Tulip, and his best friend Cassidy, who is a vampire. Tulip is a hitman. Moving on. This is my 4th attempt at filming this video. The last one I just finished was 36 minutes long. The one I did last night was like 40. The one before that was almost an hour. So we're just going to get to it. Issue 2. This is the first appearance of the Saint of Killers. This dude right here. Imagine the Juggernaut meets the Punisher, empowered by guns made by the Archangel and the Devil. This dude is hardcore. If they make, or I guess they're doing, what is it, a TV show? Eventually he's going to show up in it. They're not going to be able to do a Preacher. Well, that's not true, because look at The Walking Dead. But hopefully they don't do that with this. But issue 2, first appearance of the Saint of Killers. Very pivotal character in the storyline. And we're going to skip a couple issues. Issue 13, this is also another key. This is the first appearance of Harry Starr. He's probably the lead antagonist in Preacher. And regardless of how interesting a hero is just someone who is standing up for the right reasons. You need the strength of his villains to illustrate the point of how good the good is in this book versus how bad the bad is in this book. And the bad in this book doesn't get any badder than this dude right here. This dude is a complete and twisted screw. Some horrible, terrible things happen to this guy, but the writing in this book is so strong, at points you like empathize with him. And you see his point of view, and you understand his thought process, and his justification for some of the terrible things that he does to people. This book is amazing. Not just this one, all 66 of these guys. I'm not going to show all 66 of these guys. I'm just going to show some of my favorites. And I have my trades pulled out with some bookmarks in them because I'm not going to open up any of these. I haven't read most of these. I have the trades. I didn't want to mess with the singles. These books are all in great shape. But as far as favorite storylines, it would have to be and this is how I came across it. This is volume 2 of the trade. This goes into a little bit of the backstory of Jesse Custard, who's this little guy right here when he was a kid. That is his father right there with the gun to his head. That is his mother, who's being held by this twisted screw that works for his grandma. This dude right here, who's also a twisted screw, works for his grandma. His grandma's in this book. She is like way twisted. Okay. But just in case anyone is unfamiliar with the preacher, Jesse Custard, his power is he has the voice of God. And when he uses the voice of God, whatever he tells whoever to do, regardless of how figurative it is, they literally have to do it. Like at this point, give you a little backstory. He's going after his grandma. His grandma sends her goons. There's a fight, and he tells them to burn. So they literally catch on fire and burn. So that's the voice of God. Issue 8 starts my favorite storyline in Preacher. It's the issues from Volume 2 of the trade. This is one of my favorite trades. Easily top 5 favorite trades. Probably my favorite trade. If you guys are looking for a point to start with Preacher and you're not sure, and some of these books are a little pricey, pick up Volume 2 of the trade. This is some of the best comic writing ever. You get the backstory on Jesse Custard's parents, which is kind of pertinent because of the relationship that they have with the extended family members. This book sets up how Jesse came into being Jesse Custard. This book is also a early... Well, wait, no, it's in this one. This is Volume 3. Volume 3 continues a little bit more with the backstory of Jesse's father. And after reading Volume 2, you're going to want to know more about Jesse's father. And Jesse's father was, excuse me, he was in Vietnam. And at one point, John Wayne, right there, who shows back up later in the story as the voice of reason, kind of like an imaginary friend, like a sounding board for Jesse Custard at some points, some pivotal points in the story. And John Wayne gives Jesse Custard's dad one of these. So yeah, good stuff. This is Volume 2. So, favorite issues out of the run. Issue 8. Issue 9. This is a very dysfunctional family portrait of... There's Jesse as a kid. There's his grandma. 2 of his grandma's henchmen who are complete pricks. And this was his best friend growing up, who ends up getting killed by one of his grandma's henchmen. And at one point in this storyline, this guy right here kills Jesse's dog. And Jesse starts yelling at him, drops an F-bomb. Grandma hears it. He gets in trouble. He gets sent. Well, this isn't the issue that it happens. It happens in this one, issue 10. But he gets sent to the bottom of a lake in a coffin. And he spends a considerable amount of time there. And while he's there, the John Wayne character shows up to comfort him and provide support. Not like physical comfort, but just like gives him words of wisdom to get him through, to persevere. And when he comes out, he's a changed person. He has a little bit more direction. He gets indoctrinated into his grandma's fold for a little bit, turns into a preacher, yada yada yada. This is the issue where Jesse and Tulip come back and take out Grandma and her crazy people. I think this is the issue where Tulip meets God, which is kind of poignant for the story because Jesse's looking for God. So yeah, favorite story arc in Preacher runs from issues, for me at least, 8 through 12. And like I said, all of that is collected in Volume 2 of the trade. Number 18 is also a favorite issue of mine. This is the issue where John Wayne gives the Zippo to Jesse Custer's dad. I think I'm going to stop right there because we're just about at 11 minutes, and that kind of summed up everything. But Preacher, check it out. I'm glad the book is wicked hot because people are going to pay the prices for it now and take great care of their books. And anything that would make anybody take great care of their books is completely okay with me. I'm not really concerned about what the value of this book goes. I mean, I own copies of the run, so I'm not looking for it anymore. But right on, Preacher. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. I highly recommend it. I could talk about this all day, but I'm gonna stop here. Once again, congrats, Omega. I'll upload this video later at work. But yeah, thanks for watching, and congrats. Everybody go check him out. He's awesome. It's all awesome. Thanks for watching. Bye.